I kind of wanted to go to the berries this morning, but there's like thunderstorms all over the place that popped into the radar, so that's kind of scary because everyone's been like experiencing 40, 60 knot winds. When you live on a sailboat, you really are at the mercy of Mother Nature. And it seems like May sees its fair share of thunderstorms. So we waited by Spanish Wells until a little later that morning. What's happening?
I'm just pulling up the dinghy. It's a bit messy out here. So we're gonna head over to, well, we wanted to head over to the berries, but the weather man lied to us again. And so instead we're gonna head over to Turtle Cay near Nassau. It's gonna add a little bit of distance, but at least we'll get out of here, be in some new scenery, maybe get to do some diving, and then head over to the berries afterwards, maybe a day or two later. So getting ready, gonna get going. It's a heck of a lot more windy than it was calling for, let's just put it that way. Delicious.
Stormy's getting excited. He hasn't gone fishing in too long.
Almost in deeper water, so just getting all the gear ready. Going to set up some hand line. Hopefully catch a mahi. Or a tuna, that'd be good too.
On longer passages, we normally let out the fishing rod with a few teasers, little squids with no hooks on them. And then we have our main squid with the hook on our hand line.
Yeah, it's a nice downwind sail. A lot wavier than we expected based on the forecast, but what else is new? But it's nice. It's pretty mellow. Doing a lot of this and this, but we're doing some fishing. Hopefully we catch a mahi, like I said earlier, anytime now. I just had to take over for Jittery Jackson because he's not really steering very well. And I don't blame him, to be honest. I mean, normally downwind sails are fairly comfortable. You just kind of get picked up by the wave and then you get dropped down by the wave. And it's actually, I really don't mind downwind sails in general. But for some reason, there's two different swell directions and they're both quartering. They're quartering off the port side and they're quartering off the starboard side. And they change from one to another. So you get hit from the starboard side, you get pushed a little bit this way, then you get hit from the port side, and it's just back and forth. And every once in a while you get a few nice rollers where you're just like perfectly downwind and they hit you on the stern, but it's just so weird. And I don't know if it's from the cuts, you know, we're I don't know, we're maybe 5 to 8 miles from the cuts, where there might be current flowing in and out, which might be causing some of this. But it's definitely strange, and it's making for a very uncomfortable downwind sail. Some of the waves just catch you just right, so you lean way over on one side, and then the next wave comes and hits you on that side, so it just slams you over to the other side. The only other time we had similar situation like this was when we were getting them hit on the beam. And you know, sometimes if you get that, the period is just far enough, it'll hit you on the beam, and then you know, you'll flip over this way, and then as soon as you're coming back, the next one's coming and making you slam back and forth fairly hard. but all the waves are coming from the stern, so it's just the way they're timed and the way they're switching from one side to the other, just really making it really not the best sail. Almost there. About, I don't know, 20 minutes or so and we should be there. It's gonna be nice to get out of all this movement. But honestly, the ocean has kind of mellowed out a little bit. At least now the waves are generally coming from the same direction. So it's nice and smooth, just picks you up and drops you down. I don't want to let out too much more than 70 because there's some coral heads behind us. So we got 70, plus I'll put the snubber, so it'll be like 75 or so. And we're in a nice shallow patch in about 8 to 9 feet of sand. So it should be in good holding. And we're reasonably protected considering the wind is coming from the wide open here, but the swell was coming more from the side, so we're protected with this landmass here.
It turned out to be a comfortable evening and night at Green Cay near Nassau. We woke up to some rain, which quickly got replaced by the sun. Green Cay adventure!
I tried to do some spearfishing, but there weren't really many fish of a good size to shoot. It might have something to do with all the day trips that come from Nassau. But it's still really awesome to be in the water and dive some more. There's so many green turtles around Green Cay, and they're all really not afraid of humans. It seems like the tour boats really mellow them out, and I guess they get used to people swimming around. So it's really special to get to swim right next to them and really get a closer look at them than you normally get. Empty-handed, we decided to walk on the beach and soak in the sunset.
Is the front hatch still open?
No, I closed it. I had a feeling it would rain. is nice. Little evening stroll, well, sunset stroll on Green Cay. All the boats kind of take off just a little before sunset, because most of them are in Nassau, so they've got to go all the way back there. Mind you, it's power boats, they go fast. So we get the island to ourselves. We stopped here last year on our way to Eleuthera and found great holding. This is why we made another stop, but this time on our way to the Berry Islands. Home we go!
Off we go.
This is so exciting. We haven't had melons in forever. Actually, we had melons at Egg Island because the French French lady from one of the sailboats had some. It's a good 40 nautical mile over to Alders Cay in the Berry Islands, so we took off early morning. We usually average 5 knots or so. We knew it would probably take a little longer than the 8 hours. Oh, that's gonna be so much nicer.
Yeah, it should be good. Well, we're only going 3 to 4 knots, and that's not gonna get us there in time, so time to put up the spinnaker and get rid of the pole and the jib. Hooking up the spinnaker line. I always like to put a bit of tape. Should probably get a Velcro or something for this, but just to make sure it doesn't undo from the halyard, because that would be a bit of a nightmare to deal with.
Ready to be pulled?
Yeah, go ahead. Just a little.
Yeah.
Okay. A little more. It's always a bit of a struggle getting all this organized. I guess that'll work.
Having our gennaker in a sock makes life so much easier when setting and taking it down. But it does take some time to make sure that all the lines are ran where they should be.
Well, that worked. We're going over 5 knots now, 5.4 roughly. So now we just got to get it over to the other side and head a little more north because we're going a bit too much west right now. Lunchtime.
Oh yeah, I'm hungry. I'm so excited to have avocados. They're usually really expensive in the Bahamas, but we found some for sale for $1.75.
Enjoying yourself?
Oh, this is a dream. I think that's like one of our best sails. Super calm. We get shaded by the gennaker. It's perfect. These kind of sailing days never happen, so we were super excited. The autopilot could drive the sailboat, meanwhile we launched at the bow. In between pages I would look around the horizon for boats, and then would carry on reading. We spent quite a few hours that way, deep into our books, while eating snacks.
Even though most of the islands in the Bahamas aren't too far from one another, we often end up alone in the big blue ocean with no land in sight. Because all the islands have very little elevation, and they're quite low to the ocean, you don't see them until you're almost on top of them, only a few nautical miles away.
Corey's taking over for Jittery Jack.
Can't steer worth a damn today. Or at least this evening. Now that we're getting close, he's pulling a temper tantrum. We're about to come into the cut, and supposedly there's supposed to be pretty big waves when the ebb contradicts the waves. So, I mean, we don't have big waves now, so it shouldn't be too bad, but we expect some pretty big chop in there, or decent chop. So we're gonna take down the Spinnaker and throw back up the jib and get ready to go in.
So, not too bad, eh?
Yeah, we made it in. Looks like it's reasonably calm over there. We'll see what the surge is like when we get in. But yeah, it's pretty nice over here. I'm really glad we put tape on that Spinnaker because the tape was the only thing holding it up. It was the latch was open, so I think we need to figure out a better latching system for that thing. How's it look?
I don't think we're moving.
The bottom doesn't...
Maybe a little bit surgy. It's not too bad though, so I guess we'll see. But we're by Alders Cay. We finally made it to the berries. Because last year we tried to make it to the berries, but then the engine died, the wind was against us, the waves, and then so we just canceled that. And then on the way back we tried to come again and just skip right across. But this year, welcome to the berries.